Good evening. A group of parents, former teachers, pupils and education professionals have accused an academy chain in Hackney of having a toxic culture. Well, the BBC has seen a dossier of around 150 complaints that claim teachers at Mossbourne Federation academies are humiliating, degrading and shouting at pupils on a daily basis. The Federation denies the allegations and says it's being targeted by a vexatious campaign, and it offers, it says, a safe learning environment. Well, today, the local council commissioned a review into one of the schools. Frankie McCamley has this report.
This is the building.
Isaac left Mossbourne Community Academy in Hackney 4 years ago, but his memories there still haunt him.
I can almost hear the head of years yelling at children.
The 20-year-old says he was screamed at, humiliated and punished by teachers on a regular basis.
Once, when I was in a class, I did have a teacher make me kneel for a significant portion of the class as a punishment, and so that left 2 skin abrasions on my knees.
Why did they make you kneel?
I'm not really sure, because the guy behind me was messing with my chair, so he decided that the right thing to do would be to take my chair away and make me kneel for the class.
And when you're kneeling for the class, you're not allowed to sit down. How are you feeling at this point?
Definitely, it's quite a violating feeling, really. I think that there was a really toxic culture where there was a lot of aggression towards pupils, there was a lot of shaming and isolation.
He says he didn't complain out of fear.
You'd have teachers who would come up within half a metre, sometimes even closer, and really yell in your face. Sometimes you'd almost see like saliva flying out their mouth, like really, really aggressive, just shouting and screaming and degrading.
The Mossbourne academies teach around 3,500 pupils every year. They're all rated outstanding and have high grades. Mossbourne Community Academy's website states impeccable pupil behaviour area is achieved because our expectations are communicated clearly and regularly. There's no ambiguity regarding our expectations and our pupils feel safe. But Andy, whose son went to Victoria Park, says the tough discipline to get the grades goes too far. He asked the academy for flexibility after his child became ill.
I would try and say, that's not working for him. It's really not working for him. And there was that. It didn't matter what I said. It was actually made clear that it was a one-way phone call and that this is what was going to happen.
He pulled his son out of the school in December last year, but soon after found dozens of other parents with similar complaints about Mossbourne spread over 2 decades.
So what I did was gather anonymised accounts from those parents in a document, and I was then started to share it with the council, with Ofsted, with the DfE. And all I was saying was to these people, I think this to me seems to suggest a bit of a systemic issue that's impacting these children, and I would suggest potentially quite a lot of other children if you were to look into it.
We've seen almost 150 complaints, and they're not just about Mossbourne Community Academy, it's about all 4 Mossbourne schools in the local area. I've spoken to former teachers, former pupils, current pupils and parents. This former Mossbourne teacher has asked to remain anonymous.
One particular training course that we did, it was titled Healthy Fear. The idea is to basically make the children fearful enough that they do exactly what they're meant to. Children do need discipline, but it was done in a way which I don't think was appropriate.
She says there were good teachers and some students do thrive, but what she considered a toxic environment forced her to leave to protect her own mental health.
The best way to describe the environment is a culture of fear. There would be teachers and children crying in the corridors all the time. Teachers were encouraged to tell on other teachers for not doing the right thing, and those who gave out the most negative points to pupils were applauded. It was a bit like Wolf of Wall Street, and by the end I couldn't sleep properly and had really bad anxiety.
The academy says its training promotes a positive school culture, but after hearing numerous complaints, local councillor Penny Root started highlighting the issues too.
We first went to the council almost a year ago now, and we were sort of passed from one authority to another. So we've also been to Ofsted, we've also been to the Department for Education, to the regional director, and everybody's saying, oh, if it's a safeguarding issue, then it's not us.
She's been calling on the council to carry out a safeguarding review.
Over a period of years, I've heard individual stories, but nobody has tried to systematically collate a body of work to show that this is a really significant issue. And, you know, there are a lot of young people who are contacting us now with mental health problems, who are former pupils, saying that they're really struggling, and they put it down to a lot to do with the way that they were treated at school.
Hackney Council has said it alone has no powers to intervene when it comes to academies. I've been contacted by a council worker at Hackney Children's Services who have told me that they feel utterly helpless when people come to complain to them. They've said that they have serious concerns about the welfare of a number of pupils who have been to Mossbourne academies. And there is a wider issue to be discussed here about where people go when they aren't happy with an academy's complaints process. It's not to the councils in this instance. They need to go online to the Department of Education and fill out a form. A government spokesperson has described the allegations as deeply distressing and said it is working urgently to establish the facts and any necessary action. Following a meeting involving the council, NHS, police and social workers, Hackney's independent Safeguarding Children's Commissioner has requested a safeguarding review into Mossbourne Victoria Park Academy, first to clarify and then determine if the concerns can be substantiated. The Mossbourne Federation, which runs the academies, has expressed deep disappointment at the portrayal of its academies and federation in general. It goes on to say, "We believe that we are being unfairly targeted by a vexatious campaign and would like to challenge the descriptions of the allegations being made." It says, "We have also had external reviews by Ofsted and the local authority. In none of these were any concerns raised." As for Isaac, he left with top grades and has gone on to university, but questions whether the impact on his mental health was worth it.
Yeah, lots of questions there raised. What happens next?
Well, as I just mentioned in that report, a safeguarding review has been announced. And just to mention that it is only into one of the 4 Mossbourne schools. Now, these safeguarding reviews, they're usually launched when a single child is suspected or known to have been abused, neglected or physically harmed. But in this case, this isn't a single case with a single child. These are lots of allegations of screaming, humiliating pupils that have been collected into a dossier now of what I've seen of 200 complaints. Now, the council has said it has been aware of a number of complaints about the schools, but alone it cannot intervene. What needs to happen is this multi-agency approach, and that's what has happened this week. Multi-agencies, so the NHS, the police, they have all got together and discussed these allegations, and that is why this safeguarding review has been launched, and that is going to determine exactly what has happened here.
And I have to ask, Frankie, what has Mossbourne Federation had to say?
Well, the Mossbourne Federation, it runs all 4 academies, so it's important to note that this inquiry, this review, is just looking at Mossbourne Victoria Park Academy. Now, we haven't had a response to them as in regards to the review yet, but we have seen a letter to parents that have said that they've been informed of this review. It wrote, "It is fully committed to safety and well-being of our students." It says it's regularly reviewed by all safeguarding bodies, but it's not received an explanation as to the need for this safeguarding review, and it believes it's been driven by a broader cultural debate. Now, this is a developing story, so we will be following it in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and thanks for that. I know you're keeping a close eye on it. Frankie McCamley, thank you very much.